Hi guys, happy Saturday. Yuck. So, alright, first, I want to give a few shout outs to, let me see. Let me see who I'm shouting out. Well, where did YouTube go? Two really amazing channels that I just came across yesterday and introduced. So we have Blade and Broom. Amazing. I mean, you are incredibly amazing. The way you explain things, you have this familiarity about you, and it's incredible. It's just very soothing and very calm, and I love it. And you explain things and you get right to the point, and you're just incredible. And I feel like that we've met before. You have just, I mean, this aura of familiarity again to me, and it's just like, have we met before? I was watching your videos last night and this morning, and I'm like, have we met? It's so strange, but I love it. I love your explanation of everything about traditional craft, and it is so cool. So that is one amazing channel that you guys should really subscribe to. Okay, the other one, I can't remember which one it was, but it is amazing. So maybe it's in my history. Yeah, it's probably in my history. Okay. And she's so soft-spoken. She's so sweet. She's so nice. She explains things. It's just amazing. I mean, the way that you explain things as well. Just like Blade and Broom. Perfect. And it just, I mean, I have turned you on to my other friend, so let's see. Alright, one, Chris Orapello. Love your channel, love your videos on traditional craft, love what you do, how you speak to the ancestors, ancestral veneration. Blade and Broom, I love how you went into detail about the ancestral veneration, building that relationship up, that foundation, and really calling out to your ancestors from your heart when you need them, because they're always with us, before, the ancestors that came before, and the ones that are yet to be, and then the mighty dead. So I love it. But yes, Chris, you're amazing as well. I love it. I love your altar setup. I love your bone and stone. I thought that was pretty amazing. So I love that. Okay, where is the other one? I can't find it. Scarlet Ravenswood. You are incredible. You are very incredible. What you explain, how you explain it, because for me it was like, okay, I don't usually do a compass. I don't usually do anything like that. But the way you put it, perfect. I mean, I'm speechless, literally. I love your channel. I love everything that you're doing. So, Scarlet Ravenswood, huge shout out to you and your channel. Definitely subscribe, guys. Blade and Broom. This is like a hidden gem right here. Blade and Broom, definitely hidden gem. And then Chris Orapello. Amazing. So, I like you guys. You guys are very amazing, and I felt very at home. It made me feel very at home. It made me feel very comfortable. And with Ravenswood, your explanation of the liminal place, the liminal space inside of the compass, pacing it, everything like that. So it was really hard for me to really comprehend that by, creating a compass. But now it's all within your emotion and your intentions. So that was perfect. Perfect. Now I can, lay a compass and like that. So I just love you guys. Amazing channels that I have found. So, alright, back to the Pickingill craft. So, Old World Witchcraft, European. And here we go. Alright, now the Moors were supposed to have, this is really interesting too, so the Moors were supposed to have introduced the North African cult of the two-horned to Europe. So this cult worshipped a goat-headed god wearing a blazing torch between its horns to symbolize a spiritual illumination. Yeah. Sound familiar? So according to Idris Shah, wandering holy men from this cult traveled from North Africa to southern Europe via Moorish-occupied Spain. So now in this cult, in one of his letters, Robert Cochrane also refers to the time when the English craft accepted the Eastern gods and followed the walnut and the almond rather than the rowan, oak, and blackthorn. So some of the Devish orders displayed symbolism that was similar to the medieval witch cult. So for instance, one of the leading dervishes of the 14th century was Barack Beloa. I was like, what? Barack Obama? I love him. Anyways, so he led a group numbering over 100 members and sported a red turban decorated with buffalo horns. So, alright, now we're getting to where, this melting pot that became traditional craft in Europe. Now, in the early 15th century, a Spanish traveler saw dervishes carrying horns and a black woolen banner surmounted with a crescent moon ornament. So below the banner hung deer and goat horns, and the traveler was told this was a sign of the Dervish Brotherhood. I love it. So, the Moors invaded Spain from North Africa, and Bill Liddell says that the teachings and magical practices of the Saracen mystery schools influenced the witch cult in southern France. So during the period in the Middle Ages when the Arabs occupied Spain, the country was known as the occult center of Europe. I love it. The Moors were famous as magicians, astrologers, and alchemists, and they attracted seekers from far and wide who wanted to learn the secret arts. So Moorish magicians were skilled in the Jewish and Arabic Kabbalah, Hermetic philosophy, and necromancy. So they were able to conjure up the spirits of the wind and control the elemental forces of fire, earth, and water. Now, the Arab alchemists claim to have inherited their knowledge from the ancient Egyptians and their astrologers through the celestial science as it had descended from man, or from ancient Chaldea. Moorish Spain was also a Seville-boosted schools and colleges teaching geometry, mathematics, poetry, and literature. So the 70 libraries founded by the Arabs in Spain in the 12th century were far superior to any of those found in other European countries. 70 libraries. Can you imagine? That is amazing. I want 70 libraries. I would love to spend the rest of my life in 70 libraries. So, the Arabic became the master language for thousands of Spanish people living under Moorish rule. So even the sacred English. Now, scholars traveled from all over Europe to study at the Moorish universities, and Arabic poetry was recognized as the purest in the world and influenced the native Spanish romances. I'm a big fan of poetry. And so medieval Islamic artists produced intricate decorative patterns for their mosques using geometric designs that baffled Western mathematicians until the late 20th century. That's insane. It took them until the 20th century to figure out. The patterns they created were of a type known today as quasi-crystalline, and they can be extended indefinitely. So the geometric and mathematical principles behind this form of advanced artwork was only calculated by the well-known British mathematician Roger Penrose in the 1970s. Wow. That is pretty amazing. Yet Muslim artists were using it hundreds of years ago. So it is possible that the Knights Templars brought back Islamic knowledge of geometry to Western Europe, where it influenced the Guild of Stonemasons, who built the Gothic cathedrals. The order financed and were the forerunners of the latter Masonic lodges. That's so interesting. That is so interesting. I mean, I just want to go and see these places. It would be so amazing. So, now it is probable that it was thought, or it was through the teachings of the Saracen mystery schools, that the Jewish and the Arabian Kabbalah entered the historical craft. Alright, now, so Bill Liddell has said traditional knowledge, covens, studied the Jewish sacred text of the Zohar, and they modified the symbol of the Kabbalistic tree of life to suit their own beliefs. And that's very true, because we do have the tree of life in traditional craft. So these covens concentrated on accessing and transcending the various types of elemental consciousness represented on the tree. So literally traversing each sephira through the tree of life. And once attuned to the forces of earth, air, fire, and water, the old craft initiate can respond to the outpouring of the spirit symbolized by the temple not made by human hands, which was either the Tower of Babel, I would love to see that, or the Temple of King Solomon in biblical stories and mythology. So the inner god, represented by Lucifer and Queen Venus, can manifest through the initiate's consciousness. That would be so amazing. Now, Robert Cochrane also used Kabbalistic references to his teachings, and Diane Fortune talked about the medieval cult of Queen Venus. Really, look up Queen Venus, the medieval cult of Queen Venus, guys. It's so interesting. It really is. And you can find it on Google. I've only Googled it. I've never YouTubed it. But Bill Liddell credits the so-called Saracen craft with several innovations that were introduced into the witch cult in medieval times. So they included the use of cords, the concept of the sacred or the second temple, the fivefold kiss on the lips, breast or chest, genitals, knees, and feet, and various teachings of sex magic. So the fivefold kiss, also known as the Saracen kiss, was a method used by the Arab adepts of breathing on specific parts of the body to activate the psychic centers. So it really wasn't kissing it was just using life energy, life force, the breath. The word rides on the breath. We learned that in Hermeticism. So, the importance of the breath on your psychic centers. So this was misunderstood by Westerners and became actual physical kissing. So no, it was not actual physical kissing. So the Arab magicians breathed onto the mouth to activate the head chakra, and on the phallus and the yoni to quicken the solar and lunar forces and control the sexual function. So that really sounds pretty interesting to me. I mean, being able to control it to that kind of an extent it's discipline. Big time discipline. In the Middle Eastern mystery schools, the section of the body from the throat down to the sex organs symbolized the middle self. So the feet were the lower self, or the unconscious mind. So they were breathed upon to remove impulses and fears inherited from previous lives. So that's really interesting. That kind of takes me back to Blade and Broom, when you were talking about working with the ancestors and generational healing. I think that could be done with ancestral work instead of doing this, unless you're in a coven, and I'm not, I'm a very solitary practitioner. So it also facilitated the flow of earth energy, or the serpent power, that passes upward from the ground into the human body through the feet, or through the soles of the feet. Now, in addition, there was sometimes an extra breath or kiss that was applied to the root chakra at the base of the spine. And now we're going to know where kissing the devil's behind, or buttocks, came from, his derriere. So this was used to increase the psychic powers of the initiate, such as clairvoyancy, and allow far memories of past incarnations to be recollected. Now, unfortunately, this practice was wide open to misunderstandings, and may have given rise to the stories of the osculum infame, or the obscene kiss. So, the witch hunters claimed this was applied to the bare buttocks of the devil at the Sabbath as a sign of adoration and obedience. So we're seeing where all of this lore came from and all of these misunderstandings. It's right here. So, in the Spanish Inquisition's records of the 17th century Basque witch trials, the accused were said to kiss the horned one on the breast and under the tail. Also, the charges made against the Knights Templar, their priests were accused of kissing certain parts of the bodies of the knights when they were initiated. It's crazy. Recent genetic research into the racial origins and the identity of the British suggests that several thousand years ago this country was colonized by immigrants from the Basque region of Spain and North Africa. Bill Liddell refers to these ancient settlers as the Old Race, and says that they are mentioned in the crafter's legends, he was told. So that's just pretty amazing. They were matriarchal goddess worshippers with highly developed psychic powers, and first introduced the concept of the dark and bright aspects of the divine feminine principle to these islands. Now, our African ancestors also introduced the circle dance principle to these... the circle dance, and used it for healing, sex, magic, and raising power. Now that would be when you're inside your compass and you're pacing, you're getting that, it feels like it's thick and you got that atmosphere going and it's like electricity. Ravenswood mentions this in her video of hollowing a compass. It's very amazing. So now the men specialized in hunting magic, and these male shamans were usually solitary practitioners. Real magical expertise was in the hands of the women and female shamans gathered together in small bands to perform their rituals. So they were widely feared by the men because of the secrecy surrounding their rites and their magical powers. So the old craft legends, Liddell says, tell of a climate change, frequent attacks by predators such as saber-toothed tigers and cave bears, and genocide by other human species, virtually destroying the old race. Wow. It is windy and rainy. So a few managed to survive because of the lunar magic practiced by the female shamans, who recorded menstrual cycles and the stages of pregnancy. Now, women of childbearing age mated with the strongest and most intelligent of the conquering races. The female shamans continued to practice sexual rites and circle dancing conducted at the full moon. So, it's just a beautiful picture that you paint in your head when you read this. The legends say that the folk memories of these Stone Age practices were responsible for many of the features of the latter witch cult. We're getting into a lot better stuff here. So this is really interesting. And we will stop there for today. I can actually find... Alright. Had to get that down. Isn't that incredible, though? I mean, that is really, really incredible. That is seriously incredible. So, alright, guys. I hope you enjoy. It's just so cool to see, everything, historical witchcraft, in the medieval witch cult and everything. And I have not YouTubed traditional witchcraft in probably a couple years, and I just did, and that is how I found Broom and Ravenswood, those two channels, and Chris's channel. So those are some amazing channels to check out. And I mean, it's just really interesting because then you know, she compares, you know, the differences between Wicca and traditional witchcraft, and I love it. So it's amazing. But yeah, Blade and Broom, Blade and Broom, yes, sorry. You did bring up a good point in one of your videos. Who's going to be around to, when we're gone, to share our knowledge, to be, you know, not forgotten, which is my biggest fear. So, but the internet lives on, so I mean, I think we're here for, I think we're embedded in the internet, the interwebs of the internet, forever. So, probably, hopefully, I hope. But, alright guys, yes, make sure you check out those channels, and I love you guys very much, and please be safe, and all my love, healing, health to all of you that need it. And I love you guys all the way from Venus, all the way back down. And I promise, once I find out how to use a green screen, because I'm not I'm not smart with this stuff. Video editing. I tried to make it snow in one of my videos, and it was orbs. It looked like orbs, and people went woo-hoo about it. I will be broadcasting from Venus. Or hell, I'll just buy, I don't know, something. A tapestry, I don't know, who cares. But I love you guys. And everybody have a great Saturn day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.